See, the Rams were 14th in the Championship when Nigel Clough lost his job back in September. Now they're third with automatic promotion in their sights. And the man responsible for this dramatic turnaround in fortunes is Steve McClaren. He's been talking to late kickoffs, Natalie Jackson.
No, everybody has a lot of fun with Steve McClaren these days about his decision to move to another country and try and start again.
Throughout his career, it's well documented there's been times when Steve McClaren has had to take a look at himself in the mirror.
You know, in the dark days, and there are many dark days, you look at the good ones and you look ahead and you think, you know, football is all we know. After England, I remember I said, you know, 2 days later, I'd have gone back into a club and I'd have worked 2 days later, you know. You've got to be a little crazy as a football manager, and then maybe I am.
34 years in the football spotlight could send anyone mad.
Football is a roller coaster. Football is ups and downs, and it's highs and lows, and you know, that's the longer you're in it, you know, that's you're going to get more of them peaks and troughs.
Most important thing for Steve is to get a win, to get the press off his back.
And the scars of the lows have inspired a mantra.
Stay in the game. So, you know, that's the motto, not just for players, but for coaches, for staff, for managers. You know, stay in the game and keep fighting, and you never know. And it's how you bounce back, really, not how far you fall.
And he tells me it's this motto driving Derby in his recovery with the Rams.
Morning.
Is it nice to feel loved? It's a bit of a girly question, I know, but...
Very girly question. It's football.
It is football, but fans now idolise you, and you're a part of something, and you're wanted here. Is it, you know, is it nice to feel loved?
Success always brings that, and that's what, you know, I've had great success. And I, you know, I think that the key thing is, you know, what are your priorities in life, really? And I suppose as I've got older and more experienced, more philosophical about life, about football, about the game, about family, about friends, about things outside, and not saying that, you know, the only enjoyment you get comes from whether you win or lose a game of football. It still does, but, you know, so it's difficult. I mean, just being philosophical and saying, yeah, but I know we lose 3 games on the rough. Calling for my neck, and you know, that's football. All I want to do is come here, do the best I possibly can, make sure the players do the best they possibly can, and try and get Derby County proud of their football club. I think that's the key thing.
And he's done that. After 5 months in charge, he's taken Derby from 14th to 3rd, and they've lost just 4 times in 24 games.
It's kind of the innocent climb. We've kind of gone from 14th, 15th, and innocently gone all the way through. You know, we know how we're doing it, but the rise has been rapid, and we're kind of just riding the wave, just keeping going and just riding it.
Yeah, you say that you and Derby are a good fit. What do you mean by that?
You know, many good managers, you know, don't become bad managers overnight. Sometimes it can be the wrong fit. You have to have the right owner, you have to have the right club, the right squad in place, and the right staff. And that's, I think, why the 5 months have shot by and been very good, is because, you know, Sam Rush deserves all the credit for really what's happened in the last 5 months, because, you know, he had the courage to change, and all the pressure was on Sam, you know, so good ownership.
It's your birthday on the 3rd of May, which is the last game of the season away at Leeds. What would it mean to you on that special day if you'd got Derby promoted?
I mean, it's typical you media. You do fly ahead of yourselves. You do like to dream a lot. And that's great. That's what you have to do, and the fans are all doing it. And what we have to do is inside is feet firmly on the ground and make sure that game by game, step by step, let's see where we are on the 3rd of May.
Now, whenever I see you, you've got a cuppa with you. Coffee, water, gin.
Soup.
Soup today. Is Derby your cup of tea?
Wherever you're successful, it's always your cup of tea. But I like Derby, you know, I do have an affinity, and I've lived in this area now. This is my 3rd time. And we do like it, the family like it. And would really please me, and probably the greatest thing or the best thing in my career, if I can get Derby County into the Premier League. That would be terrific.
Steve McClaren certainly got his smile back going into the weekend. Derby are unbeaten in the last 7, having won 13 of the last 18 games. And it's fair to say the referee certainly had his say as to the outcome in the game at Turf Moor.
Kitely tries to get beyond him and was surely fouled. Well, the referee says no, and then Kitely gets it back. And now Ings. Jones on the volley! 1-0. Fabulous. Terrific goal. Dawkins. Still with Dawkins. On towards Martin. Well, he took a tumble in the area, and a dive has been given before the ball goes into the net. And I think Martin's going off. Here he is. A second booking for a dive. And the ball was then swept into the net, but the referee had already blown for simulation, and Martin, who has already been booked, gets a second yellow for the dive, and Derby are down to 10. Corner goes short to Duff, who leaves it. Ings, deflection, 2-0.
It's difficult for referees, but, you know, we've had decisions over the weeks and months that have gone against us. Today, 1 or 2 went against us, and very difficult with 10 men. I've seen it over and over about 20 times now, and there's a little contact which makes Chrissy slip, fall over. It's a penalty. But definitely, whether the referee doesn't see that, it's a slip. It's not a dive. For us, it's a penalty. So, you know, them 2 things he's got wrong.
Right, late kick-off crew. If you were Derby fans, would you have felt hard done by after that? Yes. It was a bad decision, wasn't it, Stan?
Yeah, it was a shocking decision. I mean, Chris Martin, I was having a chat with John about that before that there was a few instances of getting involved in elbows and backing into players and what have you. So the referee may have been prejudiced going into making that decision, but you still have to make the decision in isolation, and there is no way that you can look at that and be absolutely sure that it was a dive. So the play should have gone on, Derby should have got the goal, outcome of the result may have been different.
Yeah, then it would have been 1-1. I was at the League Cup final yesterday, talked to 1 or 2 of the movers and shakers in the referees' world, of whom there are many.
Yeah, of course.
And the general take on it was that Chris Martin deserved to be sent off, but not for that. He deserved to be sent off for the use of the arm, but certainly not for falling over accidentally.
And a quick word on the job that Steve McClaren's done there. Over the last 5 seasons, they've averaged around 15th position finish. They're up there, still in 3rd place. It's been a great season for them.
Yeah, you know the great thing, Steve McClaren is trusted as a coach by other managers, and that's where Derby, for me, are really benefiting, because they're being lent some good young players. Andre Wisdom from Liverpool, Dawkins has come to join them, Patrick Bamford, highly rated by Chelsea, and because McClaren will take care of them and polish them and develop them for their parent clubs, Derby get the benefit.
The coach is coach. I mean, Brendan Rodgers and Jose Mourinho saying, yes, we're more than happy for you to go and polish this diamond. Looking at the backroom staff as well, you're only as good as the backroom staff. Eric Steele, Manchester United for a long time. Yeah. Paul Simpson, a manager in his own right. Chris Evans, again, chatting to John, was at Wolves, brought through lots of very good young players at Wolverhampton Wanderers, so he's got a very good backroom staff as well.
He certainly has.